So once an object is created, we can add annotation that will give additional information about the object. So we will be using the Annotation ribbon panel, which is located here. And taking a look at our PDF, we are going to need a dimension style that is 2 decimal places as well as 3 decimal places. So if I click the drop down for annotation from the Annotation ribbon panel, I can see the current styles for our drawing. This is the text style, this is the dimension style, and this is the multi-letter style. The dimension style manager to the left, these buttons, will open up a dialog box that we can modify the different styles. So for the dimension style manager, my mechanical dimension style is currently 2 decimal places. So I am going to highlight mechanical, click new, go ahead and change this to mechanical 3 DEC for 3 decimal places, and what it will do is it will create a new style that is exactly like mechanical with just the changes that I make to the primary units tab and the precision of 3 decimal places. You can see over here in the preview that it updates to 3 decimal places. Click OK and close to close that dimension style manager. Now looking at our PDF, the circle is a 3 decimal place dimension. So I can click this drop down, make sure my mechanical 3 decimal is current. Then I can click this layer drop down and select my dimensions layer. Click this drop down for the dimension commands. Click on my diameter, and then it asks me to select an arc or a circle. I can left click on my circle, drag away, and left click to drop the dimension. My next dimension is going to be a radius, this other circle. If I click on this circle, drag away and drop, you see that I accidentally created a 3 decimal place dimension. I can fix that by clicking on the dimension, clicking the drop down, and just like our layers, if I select a different style, it will place that dimension on that style. Hit escape to drop the dimension. Now I'm going to continue to do some linear dimensions. I click on linear, but before I do that, if I click the drop down and change this to mechanical, then I don't have to come back and change it. So the mechanical is current. Click on linear. Now with the linear command, I'm going to need to pick 2 points for the extension lines. I pick this point here, I pick this point here, and then I drag away. Now I can place this on the object. Then I can click on the dimension, left click on the text grip, drag in this direction, making sure my ortho is on, and then I can type 0.75 to have it be 3/4 of a unit away from the object. Hit escape to drop that dimension. Click on the linear command again. Click an endpoint, click an endpoint. Now this time I can just use the endpoint of my previous dimension to place the dimension, and left click to drop that dimension. On the right hand side, we are going to go ahead and continue doing linear dimensions from this point to the center mark. Drag in this direction. Now since it's the first dimension, I can go ahead and click on the object, left click on the dimension, left click on the text grip of that dimension, and drag in this direction, type 0.75, hit enter, and it places that dimension where I need it. Go ahead and left click on the linear again, endpoint here, endpoint of the center mark, left click to drop. Hit enter to repeat the command, endpoint of that corner, endpoint of the center mark, left click here. If I want this text to be in the middle of my dimension, I can left click it, left click on the text grip, and then just float over that midpoint of the dimension, and it will place it in that location. Now the next couple dimensions are going to be 3 decimal places. So I can left click on the annotation drop down, left click to get 3 decimal places. Now do a linear command, left click on the command, left click on an endpoint, left click on an endpoint, drag away, and I can go through and use the command where we dropped it on, or the action of placing it on the object and then bringing it out, or I can use the offset command, give a distance of 0.75, hit enter, select this rectangle, left click outside, and I can now click on this dimension, click on the line, and then click on the midpoint, and it will drop that dimension there. Now make sure that after you use that offset command, you delete the object. Once again, linear command from this point to the end point here, drag in this direction to drop. I want some overall dimensions, so I am going to continue with some linear dimensions. I can click this drop down to change it to the mechanical. Click a line here, click a line here, place it on the dimensions, left click on the dimension, left click on the grip of the text, and this next row of dimensions is going to be 0.50 from that first row. Once again, start the command, click an endpoint, drop it, select that dimension, select the text grip, type 0.5, and enter. Hit escape. Now to give information of the material that will be used to create this, I can use a multilayer command. The mechanical is current for the multilayer. I am going to click on this multilayer command, and my first click of the mouse, left click, is going to place the arrow. Left click and drag away, and you will see that arrow start to be created. Take off ortho, which will allow me to come at a diagonal. I can left click again for the landing, and I can add in the text, making sure my caps lock is on, stainless steel. Left click to close the editor, and that will give me a leader with text attached to it. And then I also want to give information about the units. So I'm going to click this drop down, click on multi-line text, create a text box, left click on one point, drag away, left click on another point, change the height to 0.125, hit enter, and I can type. Note: all dimensions are in inches unless otherwise noted. The UON means unless otherwise noted. I can click here and increase the width so that all the text is on the same line, and I can close the editor to drop the text. Now I need to make sure that this is going to fit on my title block. I can come to Layout 1, double left click the left button of the mouse, double click the roller ball, which will zoom the object up, come over here to my viewport scale and left click, pick 1 to 1, and then I can use the pan function to pan it over. Now if I need to increase this viewport, I can close it by double left clicking on the outside, click on the boundary of that viewport, and then increase the size by dragging out my mouse and left clicking again. If I want to move it even further out, I can double left click here, hold down the roller ball to pan it across, and place it in my title block. Double left click on the outside to close, come over here to the text in the title block, double click on the text and I can type annotation commands. Left click on the outside of that text box to finish that. If I needed to, I can continue to click on text and change it. Hit enter to finish the command. Double click the rollerball to see everything. And then if I needed to print it, I can click on the plot icon. Since I don't have a printer connected to it, I can use the DWG to PDF. Pick the correct size of paper, extent, center the plot, 1:1, monochrome, landscape, and then I can either click on preview to see what it will look like or OK to print my drawing.